Good morning. Good morning. I hope everyone had a great sleep. The dream state was awkward. There is an instance of like awkwardness. Like an elephant being in the room and just ignored, walked around, shimmied around, and never spoken about. So I'm just going to keep it at that because I don't really remember the concept of it quite yet. So I'm just going to meditate on that for a bit. I'm not going to say it when I don't exactly know quite yet. But I know that that was the main thing. Was just awkwardness. Okay. Never be that person that comes back into somebody's life and really doesn't address the importance of what the issue is in that dynamic. Because that's a good way to host resentments. It's a good way to host resentments. That's a good way to have somebody be closed off or give somebody the cue that they can't open up to. Right? That relationship won't reach its potential, that's for sure. If you were to be a more open person and allow that person to see that you're being vulnerable as well, what's the point? What's the point? If that's a real individual who craves real people, you'll get cut out. Or, yeah. Okay. There's a YouTube short this morning. It's weird. I usually don't have YouTube on my phone. I must have slept with it on. There was a short of this old cowboy. And he was saying, He was saying, be a dangerous man. Be a dangerous man. Okay, so what does that mean? That means know your shadow side and make it your asset. And don't be scared to use it. Don't be scared for people to see that side of you. You know, when I get like really intense sometimes, I used to think that was a weakness of mine, that I didn't need to get that aggressive, but it's not aggressive. It's not. It's passionate. It's passionate. And I know what I stand for. So it's not aggressive. And people with the same traits as me would get it, right? I could be able to talk to somebody like this in a heated argument. Both of us come out of there with something constructive. And I don't know how that is because it sounds like a fight. Right? And those type of conversations don't need to happen in front of kids until they're older. Because I did that once. I made that mistake once. With one of my exes, and his daughter was like, "Hey, don't yell at Tori, or don't yell at my daddy," right? So we just had to take those really intense conversations to the garage, and they weren't a fight. They weren't. That was one person that I could have those arguments with, but on the off time when he wasn't being very fucking abusive. He was abusive. He was really abusive. But I did learn a lot from him. Most of it was unspoken knowledge, just by observing. Okay. when people are around other people who aren't growing, and in the midst of being around someone who's not growing, you're changing. This person that you're with is actually triggering a spiritual awakening. Okay? And you know not to bring it up because they're a gaslighter. They could be dangerous, right? The information you give them could be dangerous. So you just keep to yourself and you're observant and you're just pleasant to be around. It could be a shock to these people that you walk away. They could feel like you're a phony, like you're a fake bitch. I'm hearing a fake bitch. I'm hearing a fake bitch, but like it could, but you're not. You're not. You just couldn't share that information and walk away at the same time. And you couldn't share that information because they would feel that you were becoming distant. And they would start being fake, which would keep you there longer, right? There is a tactic to keeping your growth to yourself when the other person fails to grow or they're a danger. Now, there's a difference between being dangerous and being a danger. Like, there's a difference between being dangerous, working with your shadow side, allowing that to work for you, with you, and being a psychopath, right? Being abusive, being physically abusive, being verbally abusive, being any sort of abusive. Big difference, okay? Still be a good person, but be dangerous, okay? And that's what that cowboy was saying. He was like, be a good man. Be a good man. And then he was like, and that doesn't mean bulk up and hold your chest out and say you're dangerous. Be a good man, right? This was like a scrawny cowboy. You knew that man was dangerous. You knew that man was a protector, right? That doesn't mean walk around saying fuck around and see. I remember I was picking that up on a reading. I wonder who says that. I really wonder who says that. Somebody says fuck around and find out. That's what it is. That's it. Fuck around and find out. That's what somebody says. That's what somebody says. That's a danger, right? To society, to anyone looking up to that person as a role model, to probably the girlfriends, that's for sure. Fuck around and find out. Find out that it only causes you pain in the end, actually. And that's the truth. You're the one who has to sit with self. You're the one who has to sit with that pain that you caused all those men and women all your life due to like mental, whatever it is, right? You see a lot of people who are really quite intelligent. Well, they're clever people, right? Clever people with parental issues are scary people. They're fucking scary, right? And you could have parental issues and not become that parent. But you could have parental issues and become that parent and be very clever, and that's a scary person. It's a scary person. I personally know that demon very well. That demon's been stalking me for a better part of my life. But I'll choose to empower myself, and I'll choose to not be my parent or parents. Like there's people that grow and use that as what not to do, because sometimes people teach us what not to do, but they also teach us what to do, but we have to sift through what not to do and what to do. That's a part of our job, to grow, to be observant and grow from our observations. It's also our responsibility to be healthy in the mind, body, and spirit. Oh, I ate a fucking strawberry yesterday. Okay, I've been on this fatty meat, diet, and I ate a strawberry yesterday. I was up till like 3 a.m, itching my hand. Like, it was so itchy. My whole body was itchy. My tongue was itchy. I had cramping. I had a sharp cramp. I had a headache. My body was on fire. I can't eat strawberries. And it actually, like, it makes me want to only eat fatty red meats until at least, like, these, like, autoimmune symptoms go away. At least. I don't want to fuck around anymore. Oh, it makes me kind of itchy thinking about it, but, like, I think it's still, it's definitely still in my system. I can still feel it. Ooh, I was just so outside of myself. I was so outside of myself last night, just, like, trying to sleep. And, itching. So I can't eat strawberries. Strawberries are very dangerous for me. And I used to eat strawberries all the fucking time, so I don't understand. And it's because I was pointing blame other places, right? It was always my detergent. It was always something I ate, but not the exact thing, because I was always shoving everything, like, I can't eat fruit. I don't think I can eat fruit. I'm not even gonna mess with fruit until all my itching goes away. Like, that spooks me to try any more food. Fruits and vegetables and carbs. Carbs are like a write-off. I'm not eating any carbs. But I'm not gonna eat any fruit, that's for sure. And I'm not even going to eat any vegetables until my rashes clear up. Waiter, wache. I'm seeing waiter, okay? But it's actually my last name. Assets. That's funny, I didn't click into that one fast. I thought it was weight because I'm staring at this deck, you know? My assets. Is this a person of the past? Is this a person of the past? In anxiety? Is this a person of the past? Yeah. There's an abuser of the past, okay? Yeah. Yeah, there's an abuser of the past who tried to Ten of Swords you, or maybe it was close. Maybe it's a close call. Maybe they almost killed you. Maybe they almost killed you on multiple occasions. This is how they are. Because this is what they wanted for you, right? Stood back and watched. Like a true psychopath. Like a true psychopath. And now they're realizing, by watching you work, that you were a diamond in the rough. That they just didn't quite understand who you were as an individual. But it's because they never wanted to. They never took the chance to even ever know you. They never even took the chance to give you a healthy environment for you to even know you. It was just a constant walking on eggshells type of shit. And now that they see that you're healthy, that they see that you've healed from the Ten of Swords they tried to place in your back, they're in anxiety. They don't even know. They didn't even know. This is what happens when you're so far up your own ass. When you're such a danger to everyone around you, right? You could have a diamond in your hands. Someone who has the potential, right? A page is young. A page is young. Very immature. Immature with money on their mind. This person's very materialistic. Person will do anything for money, mostly anything for money, unless it messes with their like status or their like the way they look. Yeah, this is like a bad businessman. This is like a bad businessman who's in their feelings. About the action they took. This could be like an absent father. This could be an absent father. But they didn't cherish who you were as an individual. They would always just leave you out in the cold, make you feel like you didn't mean anything. This is domestic violence for sure. This is domestic violence for sure. And it could be a woman too, right? A woman could put you in a dark place. A woman could Ten of Swords you, backdoor you, betray you, alongside their friends and family members, and maybe even your friends and your family members. But you're getting out of that. You're getting out of that somehow. And moving on to new endeavors. You've seen somebody else do it, so why can't you? Exactly. And it has these people in anxiety, up at night, stalking, watching. I gotta take these shoes off. They're making my toes tingle for some reason. Oh, that feels better. Freedom! Just keep empowering yourself. These people are in regret. See this person? They're in regret. Like there's no coming back from the Ten of Swords in reverse. There's no coming back from that. If you know what's good for you. If you know what's good for you. If people take it that far, trust that they'll take it further down the road. They just will. They just will. The first aggression that the man that beat me for years, okay, brutally, okay, I remember one time he grabbed my head like this and grabbed onto my hair, so he had like a good grip, okay, he had a good fucking grip, and he smashed my head on the fucking countertops, okay, until I was like discombobulated. Like goose eggs and bruises didn't hurt to me anymore, but like the brain function, right? When you feel like you're all googly woogly in the brain, like my fucking vision was going black. I had to scream and I had to say, you do that one more time, you're gonna fucking kill me, you're gonna fucking kill me. And that was one of the times that I got really close to dying. Like I was very extremely beat in my relationship. Weirdest thing is, I still was in love with him, right? I was in love. Not I loved him. No, I was in love. Oh, that makes me feel like I have a pit at the bottom of my stomach. Yep. I was isolated. Okay, very isolated. Very isolated. Using drugs. And if I like had like really bad injuries, he would get fentanyl and like feed that to me because at certain times I couldn't walk. Until I felt like my body didn't need it anymore, and then I'd stop that because I knew that was something that people got hooked on. And then he would take it too and have really bad withdrawals. And I didn't because my body needed it. Oh. It took me a long time to figure out that wasn't love because that's how brainwashed I was. So if you are like in it deep with these abusive people, like it's gonna feel weird to get out. It's gonna feel weird to get out. It's gonna feel normal to allow that person back, but don't. Like the last abusive thing that they said to you, did to you, try to backdoor you, hit you, it'll get worse. It will. It's just a matter of time. It offers nothing good, even if it has money. Okay? That's that type of demon. Get out. Don't allow it back. Don't allow it back. And I say it is because that person's a vessel now, right? There's no way that you could beat a man or a woman down like that and think that you're doing good and justify it. There's no justifying that. Even if you think that the person deserved it, they don't. Okay? Everybody has their own free willing choices in life to make, good and bad. And if that person made a bad decision around you, okay, it's your job to observe that and get the fuck away from that person. Okay? It's not your job to be God or any sort of aggressor for that matter. Okay? And that's how like these dangerous good men are so precious. Because they'll stand up and protect against fuckers like you. Okay, and I'm talking to women too. Okay, there's many women who are really abusive to their men. It's usually on a psyche level, right? Because they can't out-muscle them. Or sometimes they can out-muscle them. And they do. But yeah, that's why it's important to be like, ultimately be good. But work with that shadow side. Don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of these thoughts, right? Go into the deepest, darkest part of you. Feel that energy, even if it is a little bit scary. and turn it good. Train it to be good. Train it to be good because you'll need it one day. Train it to be good because you need it one day, okay? There's always going to be, and just be a gentle being, right? A gentle danger. A gentle danger. There's so much respect that comes with that. It's like an unspoken respect. You know, this is reminding me of, like, have you watched Yellowstone? Put in the comments what's Beth's hubby's name? What's Beth's hubby's name? I forget. I love that dynamic. They were my favorite couple. They were my favorite couple, hands down. Both very in tune with shadow side, right? At least the characters were. Both in tune with the shadow side. That's like interdependent. A bit hardcore, but I mean, it worked for them. Sometimes you got to be as hardcore as your surroundings, right? Even if you have like an ooey gooey inside, right? A big heart, a kind soul. People may call them a big heart or a kind soul. But you're just a good person. You're just good. And even when you know that you could be dark or bad, it's for good reason. Okay, I think that's it for the tarot. There's resources, right? There is resources. If drugs were involved, go to treatment. Okay, that's a good way for them not to be able to reach you for a month or two. And then what I did after treatment was, I was so scared because they knew I was in treatment, right? So I knew that he wouldn't mess with me there. I was off healing from. I wish I had a picture of me, man. I did have a picture, but then I threw it in the garbage. My mom has a picture on her phone. I did not look good. Coming out of that relationship, I looked gray. My eyes were sunk into the back of my face. See, like this right here, I kind of have like my esophagus fell down. So like it kind of looks like I have an Adam's apple sometimes, but I don't. And that wasn't like that before. But I'm not ashamed of my body. And I used to be, until I did a lot of positive affirmations. Like I'd stand in the mirror and tell myself that I love myself butt naked. I'd be butt naked looking in the mirror and telling myself, like, I love you. 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 And it felt weird. I wanted to puke. And then until I meant it. Until I told myself I loved myself and I actually felt it. Okay, so you just need to do those little things to, like, even if you don't feel it, say it over and over and over and over. Just like that man, that woman brainwashed you. Brainwash yourself in a good way. Stand butt naked in front of the mirror. Tell yourself you love yourself. You don't have to say it out loud if you're shy to do that. I did it in my head. And I didn't feel it for a long time. I didn't feel lovable for a long time. I didn't feel like I loved myself, but I said it over and over and over and over and over and over until I did. Okay? Just like forgiving that man. I was in treatment and I was like, I don't know if I'll ever forgive him. I was like literally going into like, I was seizing, man. People would bring this stuff up. We were talking about domestic violence in one of these courses that you do. You do little courses while you're in treatment, right? And I would get visions, flashbacks. Some dude asked me if I was okay, and I punched him out just because it was, I don't fucking know, man, but he was my ex in that moment, and I started seizing. Like, I was on the ground seizing. That's how intense my post-traumatic stress was. And it was so wild. It was so wild, and that's where all this disassociation going out of my body came from. But now that I know that I do that, I use it for good purposes. Like when I'm in a situation where people that are trying to manipulate me, I'll go outside of myself to recognize, have that third party view, like, you know, third party perception, and know how I need to be. Maybe I need to show a little bit of like aggression or tone in my voice. Maybe I need to not say anything at all. But I've used that as a tool for me now, right? But I had to look at it first. I had to know where it came from first. I know that when I left, I felt like a little spawn. I felt like a little spawn of that, whatever that was, right? But it was because I didn't know myself anymore. I didn't know myself anymore. I never expressed myself unless it was happy or whatever, because I couldn't express anything negative. It's just way too risky. Right? It is all accustomed to your dynamic of what that abuse was. It could have been psychological. It could have been that you couldn't ever show your happiness because that person was just so miserable and would rain on your parade every time you did so. And that does something. That oppression does something on a person. I'm pretty sure if I didn't start my YouTube channel, I would have been severely depressed, and who knows where I'd be at right now, just by this simple oppression. Just by everything that I say that makes me happy gets stomped on and not addressed, deflated, argued against. Like, there's never just a constructive conversation that's happening. It's always a put down. But I just ignore that now, and I just come on here and I explain it to the best of my ability to help the people out there who are going through the same thing. Yeah, I felt like I had to relearn. I had to relearn myself to not feel like the little spawn. Because that's not who I am. I just forgot who I was. And sometimes our environment does that to us, and it's okay. It is. It's okay. At least we're not there, you know? At least we're not there. And it's going to feel normal too, so don't go back. That was the hardest part, was not going back. That would have been the death of me, right? The death of me, who I am. Or maybe quite literal. After treatment, I was still scared because this person was texted me right after treatment. Okay? And prior to that, he would show up and say that he was going to kill himself, and I'd allow him to stay, and he got in my mind again that way. It was very much like a narcissist empath dynamic. But I didn't want to be that person anymore. That person that allowed that narcissist to control me, or my thoughts, or my moods. Right? There'd be like a pit on my stomach for days, man. And that person didn't give a fuck. That person didn't give a fuck about me. They didn't. They projected their problems onto me and then beat me for what they were doing. nasty. So nasty. Anyways, I got an emergency protection order. And to do that, I had to temporarily take, like, oh shit. I had to, like, temporarily take the fear of the police out of my system. Okay, and I had to report it. I had to report the abuse. I had to report the abuse, and I had to be so brutally honest that that I was anxious even talking about it, right? I was scared. And I had to, like, share my message with this police officer. I still remember his name. It was Constable Rice that I spoke to. And they, like, put the camera on, whatever, right? And I told him my story about domestic violence. And then he asked me if I wanted to charge him. I said no, I just want him to leave me alone. I'm too scared. There's not enough proof. I would take pictures, but then I think that he'd see them and I'd delete them. But there was moments where, like, I didn't look in the mirror. I avoided the mirror because, like, hills have eyes type shit. I was unrecognizable sometimes. So, I mean, you could have a strong individual and they would have still went through that. Why do you think they are so strong? Why do you think they are so cutthroat with cutting people off and not giving any chances, right? Or maybe it's one or two, but that's just them working on themselves, okay? It's nothing special about you. So that's an option. And when I went to court, he didn't show up, and that EPO was granted immediately with the degree of abuse that was my situation. And I had, like, these men from treatment, right? They were friends from treatment. They came with me. They sat on your side of me, these men. So, I mean, you'll come across people in your life that are meant to be there in that moment. So you're never alone, and you're never alone because the ancestors are with you too, and actually wanting you to make that move and empower yourself so you have protection spiritually, even if you don't feel like it. Two more. Altercation. Selfish. Rise. Money driven. Rise above. Anxiety. Yeah, this was the Nine of Swords. Anxiety because you're moving on. And they don't want to be in debt. I'm getting authenticity, but I'm also getting, like, starstruck. Worker in the reverse. There was a worker that was, like, wanted to be in your limelight. They want to steal your light. Flirt in the reverse. Envious in the reverse. Resilient in the reverse. Focused in the reverse. Okay, so you got rid of someone who's using you. Okay, the only reason you looked up to them was because your friends did, and they were working with your friends, and your family did, and they were working with your family. Mind games. Snakes. It's funny because you'll bring up something and they'll argue it, right? You'll bring up something that is special, makes you happy, that is an opinion, and they'll, like, always have something to say, right? They'll never be constructive unless they just fucked up and, like, backdoored you, or unless they feel like they need to get away with something, and then they'll agree with you and have those conversations and make you feel some sort of way. This new love will only come after this. This new love is self-love. You gotta love yourself so much that never ever happens again. And then even longer. Really know all those red flags. And then don't ignore them, okay? I got out of an abusive relationship, and then I went into a different relationship. He was an amazing man, and then he passed away, and then I went into a different relationship. And that was that same demon that I was battling. The abuse. But also a liar. So I didn't know till like the end parts of the relationship. And he almost killed me too. He shot at me. He shot at me with a shotgun. So like those red flags were there. Those red flags were there. And I ignored them because I was in love. I ignored them because I was in love. So really know those red flags. Do not ignore them. I don't care how in love you are. I don't care how like sexually pleased you are. Like I could that for the rest of my life. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't ignore those red flags. You learned them. You tried to understand them for a reason. Don't let those rose-colored glasses, don't do it. Because then you no longer stand for self. Then you no longer stand for empowerment. Then you're no longer a good role model for your children. You're just allowing them to think that that's normal, and that's how men treat women, and that's how women treat men. And then them thinking that is normal, then they're going to be with a piece of shit just like you. Someone who's not loyal just like you. Someone who's dishonest just like you. You're dishonest to self. You're not loyal to self. Someone unloving just like you. Materialistic just like you. Because that's all that matters, right? If you're dependable in the finances, if your pocket's a bit deep. That's what you're teaching. By example. Okay? Someone that's like codependent just like you. Right? You need somebody to need you, obviously. Or you need to be needed. Or you need to be needy. Somebody who is just fucking rude, just like you. You know, people don't need to be mean and do mean things to you for you to know that they love you. That just means that it feels familiar, right? If they were nice, if they did nice things for you out of the kindness of their heart, if they shot their shot and the ball's in your court and they're not chasing you, it just doesn't feel familiar. It doesn't feel quite like home. And that's too bad that you normalize abuse. That you have an alliance with the demon that's after you. Okay, I'm going to pull some affirmations and then we're going to do a don't sweat the small stuff. And I feel like that's an intense morning, so we're just going to lay that one to rest and make peace with it, okay? It takes a long time. It takes a long time. That was about how many years ago now? I was 24 when it started. When it all started, it started with a shove across the room, right? I flew across the room like, because it was a shorter man, okay? He was quite short, but on steroids, and he like fucking pushed me like up. You know when you push someone up, they fucking fly. I flew across the room, and like the wall to the floor, like where the wall meets the floor, my wrist went backwards like this, and I sprained my wrist. And that's where it started, right? A heated argument that led to a shove where I flew across the room, and so I mean, once it goes that far, or once they manipulate you so bad, that's when you make peace with it and lay it to rest, right? You don't look back from there. You don't look back from there. Because it will escalate, and they will push it further and further and further, and by then you're probably brainwashed. Okay, so somebody's not willing to release the past, 10 of Swords, and somebody is. Somebody's not learning their lessons. They failed to learn their lessons, and that's why they 10 of Swords you to begin with, but somebody's releasing this. Somebody's releasing the 10 of Swords. They had a fear of starting over. Okay, so somebody 10 of Swords, they didn't learn their lesson. They were failing to release this idea that they could betray this person in the worst way. Okay? The other person was scared to start over due to the negative seeds that the person that was abusing them, either financially, I'm getting heavily finances and psychological, so financial damage and psychological damage, whatever that is to you, right? Somebody could keep you broke so that you don't leave them, or somebody could just spend and spend and spend and spend and spend, and hopefully you go broke, or depravity, I don't know what that is. I don't even know if that's a word, but they'll deprive you of things to teach you a lesson when they're not God. Like, they wanted to like steal your will to move on, but also 10 of Swords you. Like, staying with this type of person will be you not learning your lesson. Will be you not willing to even try again, and that's so sad. You have the power to make your dreams come true, the Magician. You have the power to release the past. You are willing and able. You are. Okay? If you are willing and able to stand up and walk out the door, you can do it. Like, if you're done feeling like that, and you're done being abused like that, and you want to be able to see love again, you want to be able to see beauty again, you're done with that same old trial, that same old tribulation. There's no convincing it. There isn't. That's insanity on your part. Okay, we already know this person's insane. Now that's insanity on your part. Okay, trust me. I tried everything because I was in love with this man, right? I fucking tried everything before I got out. I even tried, because like we'd be having these arguments and he'd be saying things that I didn't do and beating me for it, okay? He was like, if you would just admit, I'd stop hitting you. If you would just admit, I'd stop hitting you. And then I made the terrible, terrible mistake that I won't ever make again, admitted to something that I didn't do in order to not get beat up. And he stopped hitting me, and my brain did something fucked up. My brain changed a little bit. I was like, what is that? Something fucked up in my brain, because he did stop beating me. He was telling the truth, but now I wasn't, due to like aggression, threat, danger, 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 right? So that fucked up my brain. And then he did end up beating me again. He did, and it was worse than before. So don't fucking get tricked, man. Do not ever admit to something you didn't do, okay? But that was the same man that taught me the same lesson that allowed me to avoid this fucking abusive lawyer that wanted me to admit to something I didn't do. But I already knew to never, ever, 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 ever do that. So, I mean, I took something from it at least, right? But get away, man. You do have the power to make your dreams come true. It's just whether or not you want them to. I'm ready to deal with my losses and regrets and move on with my life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because you want to make this life worth living, right? Like you want to be able to cherish things like your children, and if you have children, and other things that you love, right? It's hard when you don't even know what to know anymore. You don't even know what to love because you don't even know yourself, because you've been oppressed for so long. Like, I understand that. And the anticipation of cutting losses and letting go of resentments and regrets, right? What you didn't do, what you did, what you didn't do. Making peace, like it's an internal thing, and it's a scary thing. But this is like showing like you're ready to deal with that, and that's good. That's like one step closer to freedom. Freedom of the mind. Because that's where it all starts. Right? It's in the mind. Judgment. I'm ready to take my life's journey to the next level. Somebody tried to steal your investments. This is what they're manifesting. Was to like give you an investment deal and have you put in more than what. It's like they're going to get you to do an investment deal and say that it fell out. They're going to be like, invest this, and you were going to put in more than what they were going to give you. And they were just going to say it crashed. Somebody might also want to drain you of your assets now that you've made a judgment call. This is what a narcissist will do, okay? And I've spoken about this before, is they'll try to make sure that you leave them with nothing. And even if they're successful, don't look back. That should validate, that should vindicate, okay, your reasoning to get the fuck out of that person's life and put up strong boundaries. Like if that man ever contacts me, he's getting arrested and I'm charging him, and I've told him that, okay? Because he's had ample opportunities to just at least be respectful, and he can't do that. He doesn't have it in him to do that. So the next time he reaches out to me, I'm going to call the police and he will be arrested. And I don't care how much no proof there is. I'll stand up there and I'll be able to say every instance that I remember. And I'm very compelling because that's my truth and I take it very seriously. Just like that. Okay? And be open to love. Because you're loving, right? You can even love somebody like that. And that, like, there's a way you can look at things. There's always another way you can look at things. You just need to have the right people around you to point it out sometimes. And like, when I went to treatment and I was working with like trauma therapists and stuff, they had to show me with certain activities. And I know those activities, right? I explained them on here before, the angel poster, the trauma poster. And that allowed me to know that I am not that abuse. I'm not what I've been through. That's not me at a core level. I know who I am at a core level. And now I'm just more wise. Somebody's very ungrateful for all like that you've ever given to them. Abundance. You gave them abundance. Whether it be in like wisdom, stability, power, initiative, action. This person's like ignorant to the fact how much you've actually given to them. Life lessons, experiences. They wouldn't have had that without you around. They just wouldn't. Because you were the one who attracted that to begin with. Like, this is like, good job for cutting your losses. That would have went nowhere. Move on. And they're still ungrateful and they still want to drain you of your assets. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to do a don't sweat the small stuff. I'm going to close it out. I really like, it looks like somebody's ready to deal with what they got going on. And it's abusive to some level. Maybe it's not at the extremity that, like, maybe it's not extreme domestic violence, but maybe it is. It's degrading, that's what it is. It's degrading. It's diminishing. It's like, it's annoying. I hate that stuff. Okay. Angel number 3 and angel number 11. Let go of let go of the idea that gentle, relaxed people can't be super achievers. One of the major reasons so many of us remain hurried, frightened, and competitive, and continue to live life as it were one giant emergency, is our fear. And fear is what is it? It's in here. They're saying it's in the book. It's in the book. False evidence appearing real, right? It's an illusion. It's an illusion. And fear is an illusion put there by the evils in the world. It's demonic. It's the devil. It's the devil energy. Fear is the devil energy. It's false. It's false evidence due to like a perception that a negative person put in your mind when they're in that devilish energy. But it's nothing to be scared of. It's something to be inspected. False evidence appearing real. It's our fear that if we were to become more peaceful and loving, we would suddenly stop achieving our goals. We would become lazy and apathetic. No. Apathetic. No. Apath. Oh, yeah. You can put this fear to rest by realizing that the opposite is actually true. Yes. Fearful, frantic thinking takes an enormous amount of energy and drains the creativity and motivation from our lives. If you're constantly walking on eggshells, there is no motivation to do anything. There's no creative wheels turning. There just isn't. It's like writer's block. It's like I'm getting like impotency, like that's where that shit stems from. It's lack of, it's an energy siphoner being in like, you're just using all your energy when it comes to like that fear, frantic thinking, or those fear, frantic thinkers being around you. Somebody's just like being spread so thin because everybody around them is draining, putting them in fear when the opposite should be true. Okay, that fear is an illusion put there by the devil energy that's consuming you or that is around you, whatever it is to you, right? You know where that fear comes from. You know who put that fear there. You should be able to take that energy and combat it with the same exact energy. Subtly. Be dangerous. But be good. But know that you're not somebody to be fucked with. When you're fearful or frantic, you literally immobilize yourself from your greatest potential. Not to mention enjoyment. Any success that you do have is despite your fear, not because of it. If I had one good fortune to surround myself with some very relaxed, peaceful, loving people, I have had. Nice. Some of these people are best-selling authors, loving parents, counselors, computer experts, and chief executive officers. All of them are fulfilled in what they do, and they're very proficient at their given skills. And some don't have that, right? We just don't. And maybe we even look like it, but we don't. Right? And that's the worst. That's really the worst. When the people around you are putting on a front, so it looks like you got it good, and it's just... But that's how you become grateful for little things, right? That's how you become grateful for just like shelter, food, water, place to stay. Your lovingness, your kindness, your willing to grow and expand and evolve. Right? That's it just gives you different things to be grateful for. And it allows you to be willing to go outside of, think outside the box that you're in. That's why he called it good fortune, right? He couldn't base it upon anything other than good karma. That he had the opportunity to be around those types of people, right? I've learned the important lesson. When you have what you want, inner peace, you're less distracted by your wants, needs, desires, and concerns. It's thus easier to concentrate, focus, achieve your goals, and give back to others. Inner peace is the goal. I remember we did these, what were they called? Sticks. They were sticks, but we decorated them, and what were they called? Something arrows. It wasn't intention arrows, but it was something arrows. And what this lady did was she went out and she got a bunch of willow sticks. You know what willow sticks are, right? They're the sticks that you sharpen into hot dog sticks because they don't burn in the fire. They're moist and they don't give moist. They don't put slivers in your wiener. Anyways, she cut them off the tree, these willow branches, and then we got ribbons and hot glue guns and lace and beads and shoestrings and feathers and all these things to decorate our arrow. I wish I remember what it was called. Something arrow. Damn, I don't know. But anyways, we took an hour to decorate our arrows. We had a whole hour to decorate our arrows, but not that long, right? So we had to be kind of fast and do as much as we can in that hour. And but the aim wasn't to be perfect, okay? It was just to symbolize some sort of beauty of being free to do something. I don't know, I think it was a freedom arrow, but I'm not too sure. I'm not 100% sure. But then we set our arrow in front of us, and we had this little piece of paper. It's just a little tiny piece of paper, and we had to pray for something that we wanted. Okay? And I still remember that I prayed for peace, love, family, knowledge. But peace was number one on my list. Peace, love, family, knowledge. And I had that little piece of paper with me. I used to carry it with me wherever I lived. But it's probably gone by now. And that arrow is probably gone by now as well. Unless it might be still in my bins, but that usually goes with me everywhere I move. And then we buried them. We buried these sticks in the ground. All these beautiful sticks, we buried them in the ground, and we had a ceremony. This girl sang and everything. She's on the drums, and then we had these maracas, and we're and the drums. It was we had a whole ceremony around it, and this lady had a really beautiful voice. Or maybe that was a different ceremony. Anyways, that was one of the ceremonies that we had, and then we left them. We left those sticks there overnight in the moonlight, right? We left them in the moonlight. And then the next day we went and got them. We were able to take them home, whatever, but we prayed for those things. We prayed for those things that we wanted. and we had a ceremony about them. And you could just feel like, you just felt like the ancestors, right? You just felt like the value in that. I don't know why I felt like the ancestors in that moment. Just feeling so good, so at peace, so free that we were finding healing, right? We're all a bunch of like whatever we were to the normies, right? But to our ancestors, we're loved ones, right? So you could just feel the peace, the healing energy. It was so nice. Anyways, have a good day, people. I'll see you later tonight.